One of the most iconic photos of 7/7, a battered, bloodied, surviving passenger of the Edgware Road Circle Line bomb. Professor John Tulloch was sitting virtually opposite Mohammed Siddique Khan when he triggered the explosion. Those between them died. He lived.
I discovered when I went to the coroner's inquest how many people around me in that carriage on the Circle Line train died or lost limbs. And I can walk, I can bushwalk in Australia, I can go on the sand and in the sea. I mean, those things are always with me. Every time when I go for a swim, say in Sydney Harbour, I'm thinking, I'm lucky.
The luck may have stayed with you, but what about the feeling of guilt that you survived?
Never had a feeling of guilt. What's replaced it is a feeling of extreme empathy.
He sees himself not just as a victim of terrorism, but also of British foreign policy at that time. To understand more, he took a trip to Beeston, the hometown of the man who had tried to blow him up. And in Leeds, he met up with some Muslim postgraduates.
With thoroughly decent young people who are Muslims, and they support what Mohammed Siddique Khan said through their different professional and personal trajectories. And it's that loss of hearts and minds of British Muslims that I see as the major problem.
Yet on the home front, the past decade since 7/7 has witnessed only one death from a terrorist attack, that of drummer Lee Rigby. At least 40 plots have been foiled. They include what MI5's Director General described today as Al-Qaeda's most ambitious plan. And that was liquid bombs on board a number of transatlantic flights to the US back in 2006. But failing hearts and minds has manifested itself into something else, a steady exodus to the Islamist extremist promise of a caliphate state in Syria and Iraq.
The extreme fringe has become further radicalised, more disengaged, and finding ways to reach out to them, to bring them back into the centre, to engage them and challenge their ideas is still proving very, very tough for British Muslims to do and British society as a whole to do. And I think in that sense, when we talk about failure, yes, in terms of reaching those people, we have clearly failed, and that's proven by the staggering number of British people who have gone out to Syria and Iraq to join groups like Islamic State.
After 7/7, the number of extremists in the UK was put at 2,000. Today that's up by another 1,000. Symptomatic, Professor Tulloch believes, of a failure to do little more than focus on security and surveillance.
It's just got worse. And that feeling, it's not just how I feel. I think an enormous percentage of the British public feels helpless in terms of all these bad things that are happening and governments which kind of do knee-jerk responses to them. I don't see a policy. I don't see anything that's repaired what was done in Iraq, and one wonders what could be done now, but it's getting worse.
No one would invite fate by stating the country is now safer than a decade ago. And some experts privately suggest we remain a generation away from eradicating the threat.